You can always spot someone who's never worked in a restaurant, front of house, that is. This is the individual who might order a Manhattan from the busser, might ask for the check from the hostess, or just tip poorly because, and I heard this once from a guest, the server didn't have a quote-unquote believable positivity, as though he were tasked with leading a 10-day SLN workshop at Big Sur instead of just slinging you a pork chili rib slider on a hot Sunday, for God's sake. Other signs this individual has never worked in a restaurant include the following. Finger snapping for servers' attention, letting their kids trash the area, spinning extended yarns to the waitress during peak dinner rush, arguing as to who will pick up the check during peak dinner rush, playing apart the sushi special as you say to the server, "It's all rice," not knowing how to calculate back from 20%, asking for a recommendation, then not ordering said recommendation, asking for separate checks for your party of 10, asking to see the manager over automatic gratuity, getting the check for the table, then surreptitiously tipping 10%, always having an issue with the service because you're uncomfortable at the table, taking a long time to order because everything looks so darn good, saying about your empty plate, "Can you tell I didn't like mine?" Ordering the Clams Casino swordfish chowder combo midweek. But for those of you who have waited tables before, you happy few. And I say that because such a small percentage of you industry lifers actually have any joy remaining. This quote is for you. Now, since this quote can be taken out of context and applied in your daily life at exactly the right situation, we bring it to you via a segment that is super popular here at the Good Yeoman called Wicked Wit.
Oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce.
The quote is this, and it comes from Shakespeare's Hamlet and is spoken by Claudius the king. He says, "Like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect." Translation, as someone hamstrung between multiple courses of action, I am rendered inactive and therefore do nothing. Ooh, this is the great moment in the play where Claudius is trying to reconcile, in prayer, his murdering of his brother with the Christian concepts of sin, mercy, and repentance. And he is at a loss, a true pause as to where he shall first begin in the process of appealing to God for what he's done. So that's the context for the quote in the play. What about a context for the quote out of the play? Well, it's the busy front of house at a restaurant. I mean, who knew that this environment could produce more than just painful rectal piles as a result of standing for 3 years, day in, day out on a cement surface, and slinging kid cups and Kobe burgers and kid menus and crayons, and hoping the new headshots might pay off. And why a restaurant? Because this quote perfectly describes being in the weeds. That magical time of peak anxiety when you have anywhere from 5 to 15 different things you need to do and no time to do it. So what happens is you literally stand in pause as to where you shall first begin, and not just both neglect, but all neglect. This is Shakespeare out of context at its finest. That's what we do here at the Good Yeoman. But outside of being flummoxed because of having things to do, there are other great situations in which one can drop this quote. I call these kid in a candy store situations or scenarios in which the pleasure option is so numerous that also one stands in pause as to where one shall first begin, and therefore all neglect. Happily, these are non-hemorrhoid producing environments, situations. These include the following: opening numerous gifts, buffets, bookstores, brothels, theme parks, tap houses, weed stores, exploration of new Netflix membership, week 1, exploration of new Hulu basic package with ads membership, hour 1, GNC, if vitamin fetish, Office Depot, Staples, if pen paper fetish, aka teachers, Dunkin' Donuts, Black Friday sales events, Ulta Beauty for female kleptomaniacs, incels at Comic-Con, incels at GameStop, feeders at fat camps, aquaphiliacs at Sylvan Pools, paraphiliacs at Wheelchair Emporium, orgies. So for all of you paralyzed by the pleasure options, enjoy. For you hash slingers, may this little quote dignify the indignity of the madness that is being in the weeds. And allow me to share with you a list of others who have sadly suffered from piles. Karl Marx, Napoleon, Ben Franklin, Ernest Hemingway, Mike Sorrentino, aka The Situation, Whitney Houston, George Clooney, George Brett, Marilyn Monroe, Pauly Shore, Bo Derek, Ed DeVere, Zendaya, and finally, the kid from Young Sheldon.